It's pretty rare to see Valve do anything for the sake of investors, and it's been especially apparent with a few recent changes. And so it's like the light at the end of the tunnel when we see anything good happening for investors in CS2 at all. Now, this time it's just for case investors, and it's not actually a change for case investors, but it directly helps case investors. But that's what I'm looking to cover today, because it's a big step in the right direction for players and investors. So what actually happened? Well, if you've been living under a rock, basically CS2 has been struggling a good bit with anti-cheat. It's pretty much a coin flip if you're going to get a cheater in a game or not. And Valve's promise of having a better anti-cheat with CS2 hasn't really panned out, and Valve hasn't really done anything about it until now. Until recently, they've not only enforced their policies a little more, but also shown the initiative to go further with it. And hooray, my games aren't going to be filled with cheaters, but this is also good for investors for a few reasons. And I'll get into it right after a word from today's sponsor. SkinsMonkey is an automated trading bot that's perfect if you want to swap out your skins fast and safely. They've got plenty of filters and plenty of items to choose from, so once you've found something that you like, make sure to enter my code SPAGHETTI and you'll get cash back up to $5 on a $100 trade, as well as a 35% deposit bonus, which is 5% more than regular, with code SPAGHETTI. But if you refuse to spend any money, go to the freebies section and they run giveaways there all the time, so it's definitely worth checking out. Thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. So if you take a quick look at this graph here, it shows a lowball estimate of the amount of bans that have been happening, and you'll see they're all game bans, which essentially means it's low trust factor accounts that Overwatch recognizes because of many players reporting them for whatever reason. And so most of the time these are either booster accounts or farm bots, and by banning all these accounts that are roughly in the tens of thousands range, we can't really know for sure, it takes them completely out of the market, meaning no more active drops for them, which just means less supply is coming in, and that's always going to be a good thing. But it does look like this ban wave was intentionally targeted at case farmers, because allegedly Valve has made it so that any software or method you use to case farm, Valve will immediately mark your account with low trust factor, which results in a ban again, meaning pretty much all of case farming has come to a halt that we know of. Now you might be saying that isn't really a ton of accounts, and while it's true, there's really two problems with that. The first is you got to keep in mind these are account bans which are connected to any alternate accounts on the same computer. It's pretty common to see one computer running 10 different games at once, all farming for cases, meaning this number could be way higher than we initially think, and potentially a lot of cases. Because you also have to keep in mind these accounts are definitely not opening their cases or using them at all. Because they're accounts that are technically not allowed, I can be pretty confident in saying that their unboxing rate on those accounts is way lower than the average person's, meaning the majority of cases earned on these accounts are going to be flowing right into the market, meaning it could be more impactful than we think. Then the second point is that I think this is more of a sign from Valve that they're taking the initiative. The timing's a little funny that as soon as we see mass case farming, that's when Valve cracks down on the bans. But they still have a long way to go and a lot of accounts to get rid of, because this is also only 1 month after their most recent ban wave, which by Valve standards is pretty good. And they've also been able to keep up with high ranked cheaters a lot better than when they did in the release, which are all good signs. All we gotta hope for is that this continues to happen and more improvements are made, but we can actually see it affecting prices already. If you look at pretty much any active duty case on the Steam market, we've seen a massive spike in prices. Whether this will actually sustain or not, that's yet to be seen. But hey, if you were invested in active duty cases for whatever reason, you're actually chilling right now. And don't worry, all the rare case investors will most likely see some sort of impact further down the line as we see supply being eaten away. But regardless of what happens in the short term, this is definitely a buff for all case investors for the foreseeable future. But of course, let me know what you guys think and subscribe if you did enjoy. I'll give you 2 high fives. That's all though. Bye bye.